Fields, the Director of Economic Development for the City of Plainfield, and thank you all for joining us for a celebration of a transformation over a decade in the making. From Mayor's Mapp's initial term in office, he envisioned a building for a community asset. This community asset was given a directive to the administration so we can translate it into a space that could be activated for recreation and cultural purposes. We have an opportunity now that we're looking at partnering with investors, and we are very thankful that we found the investment partnership of SK Development. So join us in giving them a round of applause. Specifically, Scott Shea, David Manheimer, and Jay Wayman Henry. They helped us realize this vision. Today, we are breaking ground on a 55,000 square foot recreation and cultural center. The Cultural Center of Excellence is right here in our Cleveland Arts and Cultural District. We have the fortune of making this an adaptive reuse project. So what that means as adaptive reuse project, we get to maintain the beauty of this historic building, but we also get to rehab it and make sure that we're building on it as a sustainable building. So inside this building, you're gonna see it revitalized to a space that's housing a competition swimming pool, housing yoga, dance studios, recording studios, a basketball court. It's also going to house performance spaces and a commercial incubator for those that look to help with their catering business or start out with a different skill set for workforce development. This construction is also possible because of the city's architect, Stephen Wilder of Think Wilder. Stephen helped us realize the thought process and come out on a better part of a decade that he was actually here at the beginning to envision the concept of what could be the center of excellence, what could be a complex that also housed affordable housing. We are very happy that we have a partnership that they not only wanted to help us realize the center of excellence, but also looking at other housing options. The mayor set a goal looking at in about September of 24, where we were looking at, we needed 1,000 affordable units. Because of these 210 units that will be behind this center, not the YMCA building itself, we are over 800 units towards that goal. The units that will be inside the residential part behind here will range from $600 for a studio for up a little above $1,800 for a 3-bedroom. So we know that this will be a resource to the community in terms of the activity, thinking about where we're gonna play, where we're gonna live, where we're gonna work, because it looks at an opportunity for workforce development training classrooms as well. And just an activation point for the city that will be a regional attractor. We are also very fortunate that we're going to partner with operators that have experience with attracting recreation and running community centers. Looking at an operator that has experience running something like Chelsea Piers. This will be a state-of-the-art facility. I hope SK Development and our other partners continue to see the city as a resource and a thriving community for investment. I would like to make sure that we identify some of the resources that we have here. So definitely from our team, our developers have spoken to Maximo Vasquez, our economic development manager. Just wave for everyone, putting this together. Also, Jeanette Aparicio, our urban enterprise zone coordinator. Drew Doman in economic development, Kina Ruiz in economic development. And we do this as a team, so making sure that we recognize the members of our cabinet that are here. First, starting with our business administrator, Abby Levinson. And our Chief of Staff and Director of Communications and IT, Jazz Clayton Hunt. And definitely a special thank you to communications media team for getting the word out. IT, you always make sure the microphone is high enough so I don't look too short. I appreciate it. Then also DPW, led by Director Orrin K. Dabney, making sure we have tents. So even though it is a beautiful day, and because we have a double feature, they were out here early setting up for the 2 tents, so we appreciate it. We also have our Director of Health and Social Services, Shep Brown. Our Director of Police, James Abney. And our Director of Solid Waste and Sewer, John Luis. All right. So finally, since we work together as the team, a team always has a leader. So allow me to introduce the man with the vision to usher in almost $2 billion of development, making sure we have a goal of 1,000 affordable housing units, the Honorable Adrian O'Map.
Well, hello, Plainfield. This is a day that has been long in coming. Now, we have talked about a center of excellence for a number of years. And I must tell you that this journey started with an idea that was to have a center of excellence at Hannah Atkins. And we worked on that for a number of years until Green Acres told us that we couldn't do it. And so when we got that word, we had to pivot. And as things would have it, this former YMCA building, which was to be a housing development, became available after the developer decided not to move forward. And not being able to build a center of excellence at Hannah Atkins, we then decided it makes sense to acquire this building. And contrary to what you've been told, that the city owned this building, sold it for $1 million, and bought it back for $5 million, that is absolutely, totally false, unadulterated nonsense. And so I want to make that very clear. The city never owned this building until a couple of years ago when it became available, and it made sense for us to acquire this in order to create a recreational center of excellence. And it's all about partnerships. It's all about a vision. And there are a number of people who don't necessarily understand the amount of time that it takes to put a project of this magnitude together. It takes a lot, and it takes financing. And so these are not projects that happen overnight or by wishful thinking. They happen through intentional planning, through partnerships with developers, through partnerships with the governing body, and with a will and desire on the part of leadership to make sure that we create projects like the Recreational Center of Excellence. And not only this, but in the back, there are going to be 218 affordable housing units. Now, the state of New Jersey, because there is a shortage of over 220 units of housing, and because suburbia has refused to build housing, the state had to allocate a certain number of housing units to several municipalities across the state of New Jersey. And there are 564 municipalities. But the state didn't have to give Plainfield an obligation, because Plainfield exceeded its obligation time and time again. But in spite of that, we still had a desire to build decent, quality, affordable housing. And we're doing it right here, right behind this building. But let's take this building first. We, as I said, have had plans for a number of years, and we had to move those plans from Hannah Atkins to here on Watchung Avenue. And this building behind me, which used to be a YMCA, will be transformed into a recreational center of excellence, where people will come here and be able to enjoy a competition-sized pool, basketball, an indoor track, a gym, recording studio, classrooms, so that when parents are using the gym, their kids could be sitting quietly doing their homework. And there'll be much more than that in this space. And so the time has arrived when we will be doing the groundbreaking on this project. This is a multi-million-dollar project, the largest investment in recreation in the city's history. And that doesn't happen overnight. It happens through planning, intentionality, and partnerships with people in the redevelopment community. And partnerships are extremely important. We can't get anything done in the city of Plainfield without partnerships. You have to be able to work with the governing body. You have to be able to work cooperatively and collaboratively in order to get buy-in from members of the governing body who recognize the importance of making sure that we create the assets in the city of Plainfield that will last for generations and that will provide a level of services to the members of this community, from the baby to the active older adults, that they need and that they deserve. And through those partnerships with members of the governing body, I am standing here today to talk to you as I am about this groundbreaking and about what is going to happen here. But not only partnerships with the governing body, it takes partnerships with people across the state of New Jersey, with the legislature, with the governor's office. If we are to get the resources that are absolutely necessary to build a city that we all will love and that we all will be able to enjoy. And so this is what leadership is all about. Building relationships, establishing partnerships, and being able to identify and to attract the resources that are absolutely necessary in order to rebuild our city. And I don't have to remind you that this city was in a very dark place a decade plus ago. And we have worked very hard to move this city forward and to bring it to where it is today. And we know that there's still more work to be done. The work is never done. There's always something that you need to do. But we're going to keep pushing forward. And we're going to keep establishing those partnerships so that we can get the job done. And so I am very proud to stand here as the mayor of this great city as a result of the trust that has been placed in me, the confidence by the people of this city who know that it takes leadership, it takes lived experiences, it takes qualifications in order to be able to do what we're going to be doing here this evening. Breaking ground, and you will see the construction, the rehabbing of this space that will be, this space will be something that will last for posterity. And generations to come will enjoy what we will leave here when we pass on. And this will be known as the Plainfield Recreational Center of Excellence. And so this is a proud moment because of what we're going to be doing here. And I know that there will be talk about what will happen behind this building, the 218 affordable units that will be constructed behind this building. Affordable, based on the AMI, the area median income, where studios can range from as low as $600. But we're not stopping there. I mentioned how we have exceeded our affordable housing obligation, but we're still bringing more. And in terms of the kinds of residential commercial developments that we've built in Plainfield, and the businesses that we want to attract, the retail experiences that we want to attract, it is important that you have the foot traffic, that you have people in the city who are going to be able to support the businesses that we want to bring to the city. And if we don't have the people in the city to support the businesses will not come. So we're working on every front, and that is why we have hired a retail consultant to help us to identify those shopping experiences that the people have told us they want. And we will bring those experiences here to diversify the shopping experience of all of the people here in the city of Plainfield. And so the best is yet to come. And so I stand here proudly as the mayor of this great city this afternoon, anxiously awaiting the groundbreaking so that this project can get started and we can begin to see what our residents have been waiting for. And it is here. It is happening right here on Watchung Avenue and Cleveland Avenue in the back of us. So I appreciate all of you who came out this evening. And let me also just say this. It is very easy to criticize. People don't know the amount of effort and work that it takes to get projects like this done. But to criticize is very easy. But to get things done is hard. To assemble resources is hard. To gain developer confidence is hard. These are things that don't just happen overnight. It's very difficult to get these kinds of projects done. And so the $2 billion in economic development reinvestment that we have in the city, it wasn't happenstance. It was planning. It was through intentional efforts. It was through transforming the city in a way that we have gained the confidence of investors to come here and to build these assets that will last for generations. And so I stand here proudly as your mayor to let you know that we will continue our forward march, and we are not stopping. We will continue to uplift, to rebuild, and to make Plainfield the envy of the municipalities all around us, so that those individuals that live here who want a better experience are going to be able to get it. Those who want to come to Plainfield and be a part of the experience will be able to have that here. And so I thank you for listening, and may we continue to move our great Queen City forward. Thank you and God bless.
Now to recognize our governing body, Steve G. Hockaday, a council president.
Thank you so much. As our phenomenal director indicated, I'm Steve Hockaday, Councilman at Large, Council President for this year. And I'd like to recognize the council folk who showed up today. We have Richard Wyatt, Councilman at Large of 2nd, 3rd Ward. We have Councilman Charles McCray of the 3rd Ward. And I know this is a midday appearance, and all the other council people, I mean, they have full-time jobs, so not able to attend everything. But this is something that we've worked tirelessly on. So I know that they are here in spirit. I'd also like to recognize our county commissioner, Rebecca Williams. Always important to have that county support when it comes to getting projects like these done. This is a very surreal moment for me personally because the Y was a place where I used to work out. So the first thing that comes to mind is with these basketball courts, will the track be over top of you, so you have to alter your jump shot, so that you can't shoot corner threes in this gym over here. So hopefully we have an improvement over that. But this Y here was my first experience with the steam room. It had beautiful steam rooms that, you were able to get in after you had your weight workout. But to be able to convert a building like this for the benefit of the community is really a dream come true. All of the council people can attest, when we go and talk to residents, whether it's knocking on their doors or people just calling us or emailing or texting us, people always say, Plainfield had more recreational opportunities back in the day. We need more recreational opportunities. And we were listening, but it's very, very difficult to do because of the cost. And the reality is, people don't just want a recreational center, they also want their taxes to stay the same or be lower, right? So we have to figure out a creative way to get this done, to make it beautiful, impactful for the community, as well as making sure that the financial management is there. And that's where the partnership and collaboration comes in. So, you'll hear from some of the partners here today, the developers who were able to get it done, but this is such a win-win. Being able to combine the Center of Excellence with 100% affordable housing, with rent as low as $600 for some residents. It's just an awesome opportunity for Plainfield. Now we know it's not going to come without issues. We're a city, this is an urban area. We're going to have also a parking deck, which we're not really talking about as much today, but we're creating a beautiful walkable area. There'll be a pedestrian mall down the street, be walkable from here. This will be an entire cultural area that we're transforming right in front of Black Lives Matter Plaza. So how better to affirm that Black Lives Matter by investing directly into our youth, our elderly, the creative community right here, exercising, all right, in the city of Plainfield. So this was a project that was difficult. Certainly the mayor had the vision to get this all done. But I have we have a city council that is very discerning and demanding at times. And as council president, it's my job to see how I can get everyone to collaborate to make a project like this come to fruition. Because quite honestly, without the will of the governing body, then it's just an idea in the mayor's head and not something that can actually come before you to break ground on it. So I'm so excited to be here today and to be a part of this renaissance, to collaborate with the mayor and his vision to get something like this done, because it will be a place where I will certainly come and work out. So thank you all, and I look forward to breaking ground on the Plainfield Center of Excellence.
Now we will hear from our development team, started with David Manheimer of SK Development.
Afternoon, everybody. I think it takes a village to get us just to here, let alone breaking ground and doing the construction. And I think I just wanted to stand up here and acknowledge some of the people that have helped us get to this point. Without naming names, I know the entire development team wants to say a big thank you to to the design team so far for the COE, Stephen Wilder and his team. We want to say, we want to say thank you to the design team for the building behind and everyone that's traveled so far to be here today. Our design architects and our civil architects and our construction partners. We want to say thank you to all of the various legal teams that it took us to get here. We've had our fair share of lawyers and so forth. And we want to say thank you to the City Council and to the Planning Board, which we had a great time at last week. And I think lastly, and I think definitely not least, we want to say thank you to the City of Plainfield. I think without the mayor and Zenobia's help, we wouldn't be able to be here today. And I think that goes a long way to making this happen. So thank you.
All right, and we had an opportunity because we set about a year ago, we set a goal in partnership with our city council to have a set-aside ordinance to make sure that we actually had minority partners and minority developers actually investing in the city, whether we were looking at minorities, disabled, veteran-owned partnership. So this effort is an example of implementing that minority-owned partnership. So our minority-owned partner here is going to be J. Wayman Henry of On Collab.
I'm a little taller than you, Zenobia, sorry. No problem. First of all, I want to thank the city of Plainfield. I've been fortunate to have other projects here in the city, and I would like to say that this is one of the few cities that you actually have great relationships and partnerships with as it relates to the mayor and his council. So first I want to thank the council. It's not the first time that I've seen or been on this stage before. Steve, who's been great. Zenobia, I don't think gets enough credit. I think when the mayor, we have a chance to sometimes look good and take all the praises and stand in front of the mic. I will tell you that this woman works tirelessly to make sure that she loves this city. She makes sure that the relationships and the deals are fair. And she's here to make sure that she supports the mayor and his endeavors for these partnerships. And I'll be brief. I want to mention a couple people. My partner, Chris Cager, who's also family, came from Maryland. Our COO, Kimberly Jones, who came from LA. I want to mention Patrick, who's in the back. Patrick Torberg, who was actually a developer and friend of mine, who actually was one of the first people who was here to telling me what the opportunities were in Plainfield. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge him because he was very instrumental in helping me make investments here in Plainfield. With that being said, I want you guys to understand how difficult it is to do projects such as these. Us as developers, a lot of times the community and the community benefit does not necessarily pencil. And what I mean by pencil, we can't afford it. And so when a city works tirelessly with developers to get something done, it's a huge lift. And with that lift is even more concentrated when you have a current administration that is going to make a state responsible for some of their own economics, which will funnel down to other communities and other municipalities. So without the partnerships, some of these things won't happen. And so I will tip my hat to Mayor Matt for being a great partner. We appreciate you for what you've done. And I appreciate the council because, again, without the council, it doesn't happen. So I appreciate you guys as well, and thank you.
All right, just one more partner that we didn't mention. We also have representing our land use board, Ron Scott Bay, definitely making sure that we get all these site plan approved, sitting through those hours and hour-long meetings. We appreciate it. So if you all could join us down here over to our right, we're going to do the groundbreaking. So if I could have everyone over here join us and stand in front of a shovel. Get your shovel. 3, 2,